Welcome to the Mindset RX podcast. As you'll know, there is no intro anymore. It's just me straight away rambling into a microphone by myself in my kitchen. So, welcome to the Mindset RX podcast. It's a show for functional athletes who want to increase their mindset or improve their mindset and like get gains and all that kind of stuff. You guys know that by now. I don't need to go about that again. But today I'm going to bring you, well, actually, first of all, I'm going to apologize to you for the lack of content recently. Honestly, there's twofold reasons for this. Number one, I just haven't had time. I've been too busy enjoying myself in Canada. So forgive me for this. I've been finding this beautiful country astonishing. We went on a trip up to Jasper and did the Icefield Parkway, there we go, which is this drive between Janf and Jasper and Banff. It's beautiful. It's like the most astonishing place. So I've been... Oh, what's falling over? Something's falling over in my kitchen. Anyway, I've been enjoying that, and it's been fantastic and beautiful and like the most amazing experience. And I can't believe we've been here, over 2 months now. It's flown by. It's incredible. And we've been getting Harriet started with her job, and we've been settling down in our new, nicer, warmer accommodation now, and I've been hiking up mountains as any given opportunity, so I've been very busy. The other thing is I've just been busy with things happening in Mindset RX. We're improving the digital mindset gym. We are getting new athletes onboarded with it. I've been restarting the Facebook groups, real kind of drive, and what I've realized is that, well, I suppose it's something like I've been mistaken in thinking you guys need information, and almost that I should be selling you information as a kind of from a business point of Mindset RX. And what I want to do is completely cast that aside, because just like in training, it's no mystery what you should be doing. I think, and in this episode, I'm going to recap exactly what you should be doing, but it's no mystery what you should be doing. It's a mystery how to get yourself to do it. And I suppose that's coaching and accountability, right? You need to be guided. You need to be helped through this process. That is what guidance is. That is what coaching is. So what I'm going to give you today is so we have no excuses that we don't know what to do. I'm going to give you the methods and the tools and the structure that we give to our athletes and in the digital mindset gym, because, well, it's not a lack of information that's holding you back, it's a lack of implementation. So hopefully what happens as a result of this is that, first off, you see that it's not complicated to change your mindset. To become the athlete that you dream of becoming, to live the life that you dream of becoming, it's not difficult. It's not this mystical experience. You don't need to go to ayahuasca ceremonies or spend thousands of dollars on a shrink and sit down and cry on a chaise longue. You need to execute these simple things which balance your perspective and aim you to the future on a daily basis, and that's how we change the beliefs that limit us. So I've completely lost my train of thought, but it's something like, it's not complex to I remember where I was. So it's not complex to change your mindset. It's difficult though, because you need to do the work over and over again. So I'm hoping that the first thing you'll do is realize that it's not complex, and you'll see that what we're doing, obviously we teach more advanced concepts in this, but the foundation is what I'm about to go through now in terms of daily techniques and exercises. The second thing that I hope happens is that some of you listening to this go away and do this for the next 6 months, for the next 3 months, for the next year, or it becomes part of your daily routine for the rest of your life, and you get the change that you actually desire. Because part of listening to this podcast, but part of being the tribe that listens to this podcast, is committing to the better version of yourself. And I really hope that you, as a listener to the Mindset RX podcast, get this, that you implement this and get the change, the kind of change that I have got, and the kind of change that hundreds of athletes that have worked with Mindset RX have got. Because when I say it's life-changing, that isn't hyperbole, that is fact. It's changed my life inordinate amounts. when I say blossomed, it makes it sound quite airy fairy, but I've become the athlete and the individual that I was desperate to become years ago through implementing the stuff. So you don't need to do that. And then finally, the third thing is that I hope happens is some of you go, look, I know it's simple, I know it's I know it's like effective, and I know there's no mystery, but I need some help in applying this. And if that's you, then you can reach out to us. Tom@mindsetrx.com is the best way to reach out to us, and join the digital mindset gym. Like, that's like, but I'd rather the first two things happened, honestly. Like, if I can give you the kind of change that you deserve for free, then that's my priority. Like, and this isn't me being falsely generous or falsely, I don't know what the word is. I really don't know what the word is, but I know there's one. This isn't me doing that. This is me saying, look, I really hope you experience the kind of change that I've experienced myself, because it is a path to freedom and it's a path of growth. And I know that you as an individual, not just an athlete, are living a scared life, are living a life that is holding back from your true potential, a life that is not your best version of you. And there's a you that is waiting to be switched on in the most biological of terms. There are genes that are waiting to be expressed. There is a better version of you waiting to be expressed, the one that you know about. So this isn't me firing you up, even though if you feel like, oh yeah, that is who I want to be. This isn't me firing you up. This is me saying, look, there's a better version of you waiting in the most biological, in the most literal of terms, waiting within inside you, waiting to be expressed. A version of you that you know is possible. And a version of you that you know is absolutely fundamentally more you than the other versions of you that you're portraying. The one that isn't confident enough in training and life, the one that has no self-belief, the one that can't be consistent. So this is what I want to happen. I want you to use these 4 tools and to begin to move forwards as an athlete, begin to move forwards as a human being, and become the best version of yourself, so that you can impact in a beneficial way those who are immediately around you, your family and your friends, and then you can maybe even help others. You start by helping yourself, then you can help your family, and then you can help those around you. And that's how we create this change that I can see happening. So let's go on to the first of these tools. The first tool is observe your inner athlete. And the reason we have to do this, I'll start with the why behind it. The reason we have to do this is because we have this subconscious narrative babbling around in our head the whole time that's dictating our moods, our emotion, and ultimately our behaviors. And it's this narrative that isn't necessarily true, but if you stop and listen to it, you'll realize it's self-deprecating. You'll realize that it's self-loathing. You'll realize that it has a complete lack of self-belief, and you realize that it's trying to keep you safe from the unknown. That's what it's trying to do. It's this subconscious narrative. It reflects a story that you're telling yourself and a version of yourself who you believe you are, but you are not actually. So that is happening. And the first thing you need to do is begin this exercise called Observe Your Inner Athlete, or OYIA, that we type it out as because it's quicker. So observe your inner athlete. What you do is you sit down with a blank piece of paper and journal freely. Like, you just write out whatever comes into your head, goes down that paper, no matter how illogical it is, no matter how insane it makes you seem, no matter how much you think, oh my god, I am fucked. You get that out onto paper, because your inner athlete is the way of changing who you really are. It's essential to you. And if you observe the story, you have a chance of changing it. And it also has a cathartic effect on this as well. So first of all, observe your inner athlete. The next thing to do is, on a daily basis, is to perform an AMWAP. Okay, we walk around life with no self-belief, full of negativity, questioning our own ability, and fearing the unknown, and fearing our own potential, and seeing the world as a categorical description of obstacles instead of what it really is, which is opportunity to become the best version of yourself. And we do this all day, every day. And we, like, as my friend and mentor Brian Grasso says, we count our scars and not our wins. What I need you to do is begin to count your wins, because when you count your wins, what happens is you see that, oh, I'm capable of changing. I'm capable of becoming the person that I'm becoming. And then from that, you rewrite the story of your own possibility, and in short, you become the type of athlete that you want to become. So what I'm asking you to do is, at the end of every day, spend 5 to 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be long. 5 to 10 minutes writing down the things that you did that are wins, okay? So a win is something that you did that moved the needle closer towards who you want to become. Did you train? Look for the small things. Did you train? Did you hydrate? Did you PR your deadlift? But like, you don't PR your deadlift every day. Did you mobilize? Did you, were you nice to a colleague that's a bit of a dick? Did you make breakfast for your spouse? Did you so you get the idea. The small things, the ones that prove you are, is filling up the bucket of proof that shows you are who you want to be. And the other side of a win is anything that made you feel good. So I don't know, for example, I woke up this morning and I felt really sore, and it's like, yes, I've trained really hard yesterday. I climbed a fucking mountain by myself, and it was cool as fuck. Like, that was my win, like my big win from yesterday. It made me feel good. Okay, like that's a good thing to remember, good thing to remind yourself of. So the AMWAP is the second thing. The third thing, on a daily basis, preferably in the morning, you need to recalibrate your aim. And what I mean by this is, so often we go through life blind and misguided to who we want to become. We end up aiming at very specific targets that aren't actually in line with who we want to be. We get carried along by everyone else's perceptions of what good is, and we very rarely sit down to calibrate our aim. So what I'd like you to do is figure out who you want to become, and then remind yourself of that by writing it down every single day, by aiming up and thinking, who is the best version of myself that I can become. So write down who you want to become, like describe it. I describe it in some words that are very meaningful to me, and then I write down a quick description of that. Spend some time with this every day, and I was just talking about this with a friend, an athlete, and we discussed how important this was, because he had a general feeling of like, this is maybe who I want to become, but he didn't have a high enough resolution image of, this is the detail of who I want to become. And I didn't mean what he wanted to achieve, but who he wanted to become. Okay, that's really important. It's not, because what you want, and he'd just been through this, what you want, what you think you want can be taken away from you, but who you become is completely in your control. So aim at who you want to become and what will follow, okay? Because it's, at the end of the day, it's not what you achieve, but it's who you become that matters most to you. So write down, again, a couple of minutes, 5 minutes maybe, add some flesh to who you want to become, write about how it will feel when you get there, try and imagine what it will feel like when you get there. 3 years from now, take all the limits away, take all the objections away, take all your logic away, and like, aim at who do you want to become. And the last thing is to embrace hardship. This is the fourth step that you have to do every day. It's like 4 pillars to becoming the best version of yourself. Embrace hardship is the final one. So look at, like, okay, so there's 2 types of hardship, right? You've got incidental and intentional. Let's start with intentional. Choose some hardship. Start very small. Look at a cold shower. Look at 5 minutes of couch stretching per side. Look at hydrating properly, drinking 2 gallons of water or whatever it is. Like, start small. Start in this tiny version of hardship, something that sucks, but it doesn't suck so much that it cripples you. So that you've got intentional hardship. Choose something that you're going to do. For me, it's sitting down and studying, like, because that's hard for me. I've got scatterbrain by default. I'm like excited, I'm creative, I want to do things. So sitting down and intentionally studying one book for hour upon hour is difficult for me, but it's something I've built up to. You don't have to do that. You do something intentional. And then incidental hardship. This is the one where it gets hard. Oh, by the way, embrace that hardship. Don't shy away from it. Don't force it, but go towards it. Find the best version of yourself within it. That's how you embrace hardship. Incidental hardship is shit that just happens to you. Okay, maybe your spouse breaks up with you. Maybe you have a huge fight with him or her. Maybe your kid tells you that they hate you. Maybe you break your arm. Maybe you get fired, or a whole other category of things that are less or more than that. Like, my granny died earlier in the year. Like, it was really tough, and I didn't expect it to hit me so hard. She was 101, and she was always going to die, of course, but it was like, it shook me really, really hard. And what I had to learn was, okay, I'm going to be the best version of myself right now. And it's like, if there's anything that I could do that she'd be proud of, it'd be carrying her coffin into her funeral, which I did, and being there for everyone else and supporting them. I was like, be the strongest person at your father's funeral, was Jordan Peterson likes to say. There's an example, there's an opportunity for me to embrace hardship and become who I wanted to become, because we're forged in hardship, and we spend so much time shying away from it, from hiding from it, because we're scared and we're vulnerable, and that's fine, but everyone's vulnerable, and the only way to growth is by going towards that vulnerability and becoming the best version of you, and finding that bit of you that is waiting to be switched on in those biological terms. So very, very simply, your 4 steps are: observe your inner athlete, a couple of minutes streaming your consciousness down onto paper. Secondly, at the end of the day, perform an AMWAP. Okay, as many wins as possible. Write down as many wins as you have from the past 24 hours. Preferably at the beginning of the day. Do the third thing. Aim up. Recalibrate your aim. Okay, where are you heading? Flesh that out. What it feel like when you get there. Aim there and remind yourself and flesh that out. And then finally, embrace hardship, because man, it's fucking coming, and there's something on its way to wipe you out at some point. Like, if you haven't experienced it so far, it's on its way. And every single day you're going to have hardship of getting out of bed on time, hardship of being vulnerable with your spouse and having a difficult conversation, hardship of approaching a WOD, training your weaknesses, eating the right food when temptation is around you, not slacking on whatever it is. And those are the 4 steps. Oh, and part of that, choose something difficult to do every day, because it will make you a better person as a result of it. Cold showers are a great way to start. So I hope that's helpful. There's a few things, basically start implementing that. Like, really start, because it's invaluable. And in the Facebook group that we're running, we are we're taking athletes through this individually for free. And we've got a bunch of stuff, and like, if you want to find out about a digital mindset gym, join the Facebook group, and we can send you some information about that, or just log onto our website, and I'm sure we'll retarget the shit out of you with some adverts. But yeah, enjoy that, and join the group and start implementing this, because there's no excuses. Like, this stuff doesn't work straight away. It's just like training. Like, okay, so imagine somebody's really out of shape. They go to the gym once. It's like, why haven't I changed my whole physiology? Well, because you've been to the gym once. You got to change your physical structure. Like, it takes time of eating well and training well and being kind to yourself and hydrating and mobilizing and all that kind of stuff. And it's no different with mindset, because you're changing physical structures at the end of the day. You're changing the best version of yourself. You're changing your subconscious narrative, and if you can change your subconscious narrative, you change success, and that takes time, because it's been developing for your lifetime. Okay, your subconscious narrative has been developing for your lifetime, and to change that takes time and repetition and a slightly altered state. So keep going with that. If you have any questions, message me, but that's not how I sign off these podcasts. I haven't done one in so long that I've forgotten how to sign it off. So until next time, folks, I shall speak to you very soon.